Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. This is our official preparing for registration session. We are going to talk about all the things and all the tasks you'll need to do to prepare for your registration appointment. My name is Molly. I am the service year advisor for the City of Los Angeles site. And it's great to chat with you all today and help you all prepare for a powerful year of service. Let's go ahead and get started. So we'll talk about what you expect for your registration appointment, cover all the tasks. Many of you have scheduled one-on-ones already, so that is great. There is a key deadline, however, that I want everyone to be aware of. And we'll cover like the most common like documents we see folks bring to their appointment in order to verify their identity and eligibility to serve with us. Alrighty, so all of our incoming Corps members just nationally are required to schedule and attend a registration appointment that verifies your identity, eligibility to serve with us, and registration has to take place in advance of your start date. This is essentially when we are officially hiring you. So you all accepted the offer and invitation to serve, and now you're completing tasks that ensure that we can still hire you. So our registration days will be Thursday and Friday of next month, July 21st and 22nd. If you have any concerns in regards to like being able to physically be in Los Angeles or coming to these registration days, definitely reach out to me as soon as possible. We are scheduling like a very limited number of late registration appointments. So just keep that in mind as you think about your schedule next month. Okay, so in regards to what to expect, the appointment will last around 30 minutes. We'll cover the documentation you'll need to bring. It essentially like verifies your eligibility to serve as an AmeriCorps member. We'll complete your I-9s, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, but you might have another task, which is accepting your official MYAMERICORPS invitation. MYAMERICORPS is the federal agency that processes your Siegel Education Award. So you will be using that in the future. Okay. So a note about documentation, you do want to gather this as soon as possible. Just make sure everything, I'll go over the options, but you definitely want to make sure everything is current and unexpired. Unfortunately, we can't accept any expired IDs, and you want your legal name to match all of those documents. We can't use school IDs, so it does need to be a government issued photo ID. Most people use their driver's license or a state ID card. Birth certificates as well must be issued by a state, county, municipal authority. It's got to bear an official seal. We have examples in our registration guide, so definitely check that out. It cannot be an abstract or like a summary of birth. Okay. So these are the most common types of documentation folks bring with us. The easiest is a passport. So if you have that, that's all you need to bring. You don't need to bring a birth certificate or like a legal permanent resident card. However, you must bring a social security card. You'll notice that as like a theme among each of these, like you got to have your social security card. If you don't know where yours is, ask your parents. If you need to order one, go ahead and do so. Folks in the past who have come to their registration appointment without their social security card had to walk across the street to the social security office, order one, and then bring us their receipt. And then they had to schedule a follow-up appointment to come to the city or office and like bring their physical card. So you will save yourself that time just by bringing your social security card with you. If you order it online and you're worried that it might not come in time for your registration appointments, just bring that receipt with you to registration. And we'll talk about next steps when it comes to bringing your actual card in person if the receipt is all you have. So easiest thing is a passport. If you don't have that, you can bring your certified birth certificate and your government issued photo ID. Again, a driver's license is the most common one we receive, but we can also accept a state ID. The third is bringing your legal permanent resident card. Again, it cannot be expired, so please be sure to double check. And if your name recently changed, just want to make sure all of that matches. There's also a document in the registration guide that talks about what to do if that's not the case. So definitely let me know if you have any questions there. Okay. All right, when it comes to Workday, as soon as everyone accepts their invitation to serve with Cydia, within about like 24 hours, our Workday team will send you instructions for scheduling, not for scheduling, but for creating your Workday account. We formerly called it CY Resource, so I'm sorry, that's why you see CY Resource email in there. It is different. There are directions in the registration guide and checklist, but please be sure to complete that within a week of accepting your invitation. You also want to hang on to your password because you may need to log back into your account. There are like 3 batches of tasks like waiting for you to complete inside your inbox. So all of those must be complete before you do your background checks or anything else. So that's why we have like a week deadline. If there are any like delays, definitely let me know. We'll see what we can do, but this is like the first key thing you want to complete. I think most of you on this call like have this done already, so I know this is review, but for folks who are watching the recording, like definitely want to get your workday done within a week. Okay. Also want to recap our COVID-19 vaccination policy. It is a policy that Cydia has adopted. It is mandatory for everyone to be vaccinated. However, I will also add that our school district also mandates that all adults on campus must be vaccinated. So that is why City of Los Angeles especially doesn't have, can't allow exemptions for that reason, because all of our service is fully in person, so you'll need to be vaccinated. When you complete your workday tasks, there is like an option for you to upload your vaccination card. It, however, wasn't a requirement in order to move forward in that process. So you do need to upload your vaccination by the time you show up to your registration appointment. But some folks, you know, when they're doing workday, they don't have it on them. So you're welcome to re-log in to your workday and include it there. But it won't prevent you from moving forward with completing workday and other background checks and other requirements. Okay. We'll also mention after we review everything, oops, I will pause for questions. Oh no, hold on. But if you have questions in the meantime, just save it until I pause. Thanks. Okay, another line that is shorter than everything else is the placement and onboarding survey. So folks also have a week from the time they accept their position to complete this survey. Folks, we've been hiring positions for this coming school term like throughout the year. So many of you have received this already and submitted by the deadline. So if you've submitted the placement survey already, you will receive your school placement at the end of this month. And I do mean like the very end, like June 30th is likely the day you're going to get an email from me with your school placement. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Everyone else who submits will receive their placement like early to mid-July. So before registration, ideally, but please, like, the sooner you submit the survey and the more people who do so, the sooner we are able to place people at schools and like notify everyone. So something to keep in mind. Okay. So after background checks are completed, everyone receives an email from backgroundcheck@cityyear.org. There are instructions for completing TrueScreen and field print. So TrueScreen or application station is the virtual background check that all of our core members must undergo. It ensures that you are not a sex offender serving at our schools. So that's why we have that process. An important thing to note is that when you're completing TrueScreen and entering your name, you want that name to match the ID you have to upload. So TrueScreen will ask you to upload a government issued photo ID that will have your legal name. That is also what you want to use when you're completing TrueScreen, not like a nickname or like other name you go by. If the name they have for you on file versus the name on your like legal document, if those don't match, they will send it back to you and you'll have to recomplete the process. So that's why it's an important thing to note. For field print, this is a federal requirement. So it is an in-person fingerprinting appointment. TrueScreen is completely virtual, but field print is in person. You don't have to be in Los Angeles to complete your field print appointment. They have locations like scattered throughout the US. So just follow the directions you get in their email to schedule your appointment. You want to be sure to attend, and you don't want to schedule field print at the very last minute. Occasionally, I think especially during the pandemic, some field print locations had to like cancel appointments due to low staff. So the earlier you schedule your field print appointments, the better, so that you don't have to reschedule and then like potentially miss the deadline. Okay, the next thing is the tuberculosis test. This is also a school requirement. All adults on campus for LA Unified School District does have to test negative for tuberculosis. There is a form you'll want to have your healthcare provider complete. And we also have a document that has a list of Los Angeles local places who will do your TB test for low cost or for free. Unfortunately, City Year does not cover the cost of a TB test. So that is something you'll have to take care of on your own. If you've never had a TB test before, they usually complete a quick skin test. They'll like prick your arm with a needle and you'll have to schedule a follow-up appointment within a couple of days. And they will simply look at your arm and they'll be able to tell whether you have TB. If you get a false positive, what they've done is in the past is schedule you for chest x-rays, to confirm that like TB is not still in your system if it ever was. So just something to keep in mind if that happens to you. They may give you a printout of your test results, but you can also use this form and have them complete that. Don't necessarily require that you use this form, especially if you don't have access to a printer, but it makes the process a little bit easier for our team. So please use this TB test form if you can. Okay. MYAMERICORPS. So this has not launched yet. We will give you a heads up when it does. We're not sure exactly the time frame. It may be closer to registration, or it may be closer, like afterwards, closer to your start date. But we'll send you the details in advance as much as we can. But MYAMERICORPS is the federal database that processes all core members. This is where you will receive your Siegel Education Award. So once you are officially invited to enroll in MYAMERICORPS, you will simply accept their invitation. You just enter like your name and social security number and create a password. I will say it is very, very case sensitive. So just be very careful as you're creating your password. As an example, mine has, I clicked the space bar at the very end of my password, and now I have to do that. every time I log into my AmeriCorps account because it registers that there is a space at the very end. So just be careful. Otherwise, it's a pretty quick process. It just takes like a couple minutes to enter your information and complete a very quick form that just like verifies your name and like your address. And if you have previously served with an AmeriCorps program, just keep an eye out for an email from epayments@myamericorps.gov. Okay. So TBD. So this is a general timeline of what you'll need to do before your registration appointment. You'll want to gather your documents. So make sure you know where your social security card is and grab your passport or your birth certificate or a legal permanent resident card. You want to do your workday, your placement survey. The placement survey also has like other like operations related questions. This is where you can, like the information used is going to be used to order your free Metro tap card and like your name tag and just other essentials. So just be sure to complete that because it's important for purposes just beyond placement. Then you'll want to do your TRU screen, your field print background checks, do your TB test. Something I forgot to mention is that your TB test does also need to be dated within 60 days of your registration appointment. So if you've worked with kids before and you got your TB test like back in January, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to accept those results because it's got to be within 60 days. Okay, and then we will notify you when MyAmeriCorps enrollment invitations go out. Let's see. Okay, when it comes to resources, I posted these in my announcement in our Slack channel, but we do have a registration guide that walks you through all of these tasks. And we have a checklist that outlines everything you need to do and everything you'll need to bring to your appointments. The final piece that we're just getting situated is scheduling your registration appointments. If you've ever scheduled like a one-on-one with me before, you'll know that I use a Calendly link. So we're also going to use Calendly for scheduling appointments. It will, of course, look a little different, but just keep an eye out for that next week. Should be pretty simple. You'll receive like a confirmation email with a list of everything you need to bring. So you are free to reference that as well. I will, of course, be sending everyone like a follow-up email. I'll send out this recording and links to the checklist and the guide. But y'all are getting a first look at everything and can, of course, reference it already in Slack. Okay, before I talk about the final deadline, are there any questions from the group about the info I just covered?
Yes, so for the TB test, it's not enough if we have like a medical record from our doctor. It specifically has to be that form filled out by them.
It doesn't have to be that form. If you already have a medical record from your doctor, we can accept that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, there's one in the chat that says, where can we find the TB form?
Thanks. Great question. It is linked in the incoming ACM checklist. There's a section for TB test and the link is included, as well as a link to a list of local TB testing centers. Some folks, get it through their primary care doctor, but there are also like CVS locations and other departments who do TB tests as well. So check it out. Thanks, Melanie. Any other questions? Okay. Let's see. Now my arrow keys aren't working. Okay. So in terms of next steps, gather your documentation. If you're working over the summer, please reserve time off for January 21st or 22nd so you can schedule your registration appointments. And everything is going to be due by July 8th. So Workday and your placement survey, of course, are due within a week, but we have some flexibility. The final deadline will be July 8th. TrueScreen, field print, due by July 8th. TB test. We aren't going to track exactly who has done their TB test and who hasn't, but please have that completed as well by July 8th. Having this week buffer before your actual registration appointment will be less stressful, I think, for you in the long run. So please be sure to have all that done by July 8th. I will be sending reminder emails between now and then to help keep you on track. I'll follow up with folks who missed this deadline, but if you do have any concerns already with being able to have everything done by July 8th, please let me know and keep me in the loop. Okay. Alrighty, so after you register, you will be ready to start service on August 1st. Let's see, our team, our core recently graduated, so our city or staff members are getting ready to prepare for Basic Training Academy, which is your first 2 weeks of service. Everyone's looking forward to meeting you, but you'll receive an email with next steps in terms of what to expect for your first day. That will not come from me, but I will give folks a heads up when it's coming soon. Okay, again, feel free to reach out to me if you still have questions. I'm here to help you prepare for a successful start of service. So want to do my best to be there for everyone. Because once you start service, you are in the hands of your program manager and team leader. So I'm just here for you in the meantime. I see your question, Jasmine, in the chat about scheduling your appointment. That is coming soon, next week. I'll send another notification when it's time to schedule, and the link to schedule will be included in our registration guide and the checklist. So you'll be able to access that easily. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And okay, so as for some exciting news, we have very recently hired a part-time summer associate to help support our work and help you all look for housing and prepare for a successful service year. Her name is Melanie. I'll let you share a few words, Melanie, just to say hey. We'll send a more formal introduction, but yeah, she'll be here for y'all, so you get to meet her soon.
Yes, thank you, Molly. Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy, but hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Molly Corral. I primarily served with City for the past 2 years, and really excited to be your summer associate and help you with any questions you have in the future.
Awesome, thanks, Melanie. Alrighty, so hopefully y'all are feeling more prepared about registration. If anything does come up, definitely reach out. I'll be sending all this in a follow-up email, so please look out for that. I hope everyone enjoys their summer in the meantime as they're preparing for all the things. Congrats to everyone who graduated and finished school. Super excited for y'all to get going with City Year for a transformational year of service. So yeah, we'll stay in touch, but I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you later. You can't even see my wave because it's